Today's movie is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, directed by Ryan Coogler. This action-adventure got a 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. If you haven't seen this movie, Queen Ramonda, Shuri, M'Baku, Okoye, and Dora fight to protect their nation from the intervening world powers in the wake of King T'Challa's death. As the Wakandans strive to embrace their next chapter, the heroes must band together with Nakia and Everett Ross to forge a new path for their beloved kingdom.
We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to start off by talking about whether it met our expectations, our one words to describe the movie, and was it worth our time. Then we're going to talk about the ending, the characters, and the acting, and in the end we're going to get to talking about the music, the action, and whether the Rotten Tomatoes was accurate.
Welcome back to Movies of the Week. This week we watched the sequel to Black Panther, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Going into this movie, what did you expect?
My expectations were, I don't know, a little bit mixed. Seeing a few of the previous Marvel movies, I was expecting sort of the same, in terms of Thor, Love and Thunder, and the other ones, I don't know.
Like more comedy.
Thor was very comedy based. They just weren't that good of movies.
Yeah.
Right? I was kind of expecting this one to be a bit of the same. They're taking it for granted that they have so many fans, but they didn't do that here. They, did better.
Interesting, yeah.
And your expectations, what were your thoughts going in,
So I don't know, I expected there to be a bit more of the Black Panther action with super strength. But really, there was no Black Panther till the end. And then even then, it's a very small amount.
Yeah, I mean, when, one guy I watched was saying that, there wasn't really one main character, it was just a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. But, if you had to pick a main character, it would be Shuri. And she, she's the main character, the movie is about, being smart, more not a Black Panther, but a Iron Man aspect, right? Mm-hmm. It's about the smarts, not the fighting as much. There's fighting, but it's about the brains behind it.
I did not expect it to focus on Shuri so much, this movie. Even with T'Challa dying.
Why not? Her being the logical second choice.
I guess. I thought it'd be more of a... Well, for one, I didn't think she'd be the Black Panther. So I thought whoever the next Black Panther would be more focused on them. But I guess since it was her, it makes sense.
Really? So her being the Black Panther, did that surprise you?
I think so, yeah. Because I think under a silent impression, I was like, it's gotta be a man. Just from the fight at the end to decide who gets to be Black Panther. Right. Because a woman would rarely win that ritual.
Yeah, that's true. And that was interesting how she didn't even go to that fight.
Well, they just needed her so fast because they were getting attacked. Yeah. It was last second they developed the flower petal.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the ending later, but it looks like she's about to get challenged.
Yeah, by M'Baku.
And then at that point, there's no way she wins, realistically. Yeah. She's never fought. She's a scientist.
Which is, it's crazy how they'd stick to that. I don't know. It feels like they should just move on from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially after just saving the day. The guy just shows up right after the war's over.
Yeah.
But no, we'll talk about the ending more later. So, those were your expectations. Did it meet them?
It was above my expectations, definitely. My expectations were low.
Mm-hmm.
They were down on the floor, just a money grab type movie for Marvel, but it was better than that, If you probably, if you're hesitant on watching this because you think it's going to be like the other ones, the other Marvel movies, it's not going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you?
Yeah, for me, it differed from my expectations, so I don't think it was any worse. I do think it was a little bit better, so I did enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it being a pretty decent movie, you know. Not the best of the best, but definitely enjoyable.
100%.
And on that topic, was it worth your time, the enjoyability of this movie?
Yeah, time is a subject itself, because it was almost 3 hours long.
It was a long movie, and if you go and you watch all the end credits...
I did not do that. I got out of there right after the movie was over.
Yeah, well, you at least stay for after the pre-credits. There's a little clip. It was 1 minute, right? But then after that, there is no clip. So if you're going, you shouldn't stay and past the credits. There's no clip. It just says Black Panther will return. That's it. Don't stay. Just leave. And now you have this knowledge.
That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah. So you didn't miss anything.
That's good.
So that's good. But back to it. Was it worth your time? Answering the question, was it worth your time?
So at around probably hour 40 minutes, I checked my phone because I was like, yeah, this is gonna be 2 hours. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go grab some dinner. I checked my phone, and it had been an hour 40 minutes, and it was nowhere near over. So it's like, okay, this must be longer.
Yeah.
Which it was, and I didn't have a problem with it. I liked it. So for me, it was worth my time. What about you?
I got bored a few points. I was like, oh, when is this movie gonna end? And I don't like thinking when is this movie gonna end. I like being in the reality the whole time. But unfortunately, I got a little bored. Unwrestling in my seat. Moving around, just uncomfortable there. But yeah, it was a little long, but it was still enjoyable. I'd say yes, it's worth your time. You should go watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, a couple girls in front of me left about halfway through.
Really?
It's like, oh, that's not a good sign.
That's crazy.
I would never leave. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you start a movie, you watch the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. And they paid. We were in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Just go out and watch another movie.
Yeah, I don't know what they did.
One word to describe this movie. What would it be?
Yeah. One word for the entire movie is huge. It's
a long movie.
It's a tough choice, but I would say dilemma. Just based on the fact that Wakanda had no good choice. It was a dilemma between letting the water people...
They're water people.
Should I call them water? Okay.
Yeah, they're water people.
Letting the water people kill this scientist, or joining the water people and taking over the entire world. It sounds like a no-brainer, but either way, Wakanda's not doing what they want to do.
No, it is a dilemma.
It is a dilemma.
Exactly what it is. And, water people, Marvel, they don't want you calling them Atlanteans because they're not. Mm-hmm. DC has that copyright. You can't call them Atlanteans. They're, I don't know, they're Namor's people, they're water people, I don't know.
We'll call them water people.
Water people, exactly.
Alright, what was your one word for the movie?
It would have to be grief.
Okay.
Very grief-stricken. A friend of mine gave me this word. He told me we were talking about the movie, and I really liked it. It touches on all aspects of the movie. The start, the ending, the middle. Like, it starts off with T'Challa dying, and everyone being grief-stricken, right? Everyone being sad. There's a funeral. It takes up a big chunk of time, right? And then in the middle, there's a bit more grief, with Shuri's mom dying as well.
The queen, yeah.
Yeah. Very sad, very shocking too. I was very taken back by that she would die.
Yeah, usually you can rely on the movie not to kill off the main characters, but...
This one, it really is a twist.
And there was no dramatic death, she just washed up in the water, dead.
Yeah, it was just, you don't know if she's dead, they cut away, they cut back, and she's dead, right? Which is crazy, but yeah, it's just a grief-stricken movie, and in the end, Namor losing some people, Shuri losing some people, it's not as focused on in the last fight there, but there's still grief.
Yeah.
And that's my one word. On the subject of the ending, what did you think of the ending?
We're going to talk about that now. Okay.
Yes.
It's quite the ending.
Let's
first talk about the battle at the end, just between Shuri and...
Namor, yeah.
Shuri and Namor.
Black Panther and Water King.
Yes. So, clearly, the Water King is stronger.
Yes.
And then, once he gets dehydrated...
Debuffed.
And thrown in the desert. And then torched, they're about even.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's a bit weaker now.
He still gets a pull, which skewers her.
That's crazy. Does the Black Panther have some sort of healing power?
Well, the suit closed it up, and so the wound wasn't bleeding, and so...
But she still had a hole through her.
Yes, she still had a hole through her, but she wasn't bleeding out, and so that was
saved her.
Yeah, the suit saved her. And they have advanced medical techniques. For me, the ending, it was, just a big CGI fight. That was my... And you could notice it, which is what I didn't like.
Could you? I just wasn't really focusing on that. I just appreciated the epicness of this massive submarine sort of thing.
Right.
And then whales and stuff underneath the water, and then they threw some big bag of grenades.
Yeah, the big.
Just
grenade
everything was on
bombs.
such a big scale. I thought it was pretty cool.
Right. One thing was the girl who had the Iron Man suit,
Yeah.
the flying one.
The scientist.
Her helmet. It was like she looked and it went like tuk tuk tuk, and it moved frame by frame along with her head.
Did it?
It wasn't clean, and I don't know. It just stood out. It was so much brighter than the environment.
Yeah.
It was just out of place. There's not many shadows. Is one of the things. I don't know.
See, I didn't look quite that close.
The CG,
I also loved the new suits.
They were rather stylish.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, fitting in with the theme.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Characters. Who's your favorite character?
In the entire movie.
Yeah, least favorite character, Could have one of those.
Oh, I don't know. I always liked the missionary. I don't know what her name is.
Nakira or Nikita.
Nikita, I think. Yeah.
Nikita. Yeah,
she's always
nice.
cool. Yeah. And she swoops in, sort of saves the day, or tries to there.
Yeah.
She may have made things worse by killing the water woman.
Yeah.
And then breaking out the two hostages when they were sort of there in peace.
Yeah, that one water lady dying, and then Namor just going off the rails.
Yeah.
He was already threatening to go to war, but that just tipped him.
It set things off,
Yeah,
for sure.
And then it's going to wartime. And
So
then,
she meant well. It didn't really end up that way.
Yeah.
And she plays a pretty crucial part in the rest of the movie.
She does. She's around. She's she has Black Panther child.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Who was your favorite character, or least favorite?
Shuri. I like her smarts, her character development. She was really developed in this movie.
I should hope so. She's the main character.
Yeah, they took her as not an existing character. They took her as a new character and developed her as such.
Yeah, they did actually.
It's not like they took her existing already for granted. They just treated her like a new character and developed her that way. And you got so much character development because of that, and that made her a great character in this movie.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. So the music in this movie was just everywhere.
It was all over the place.
It was loud. It was fun. When it was there, it was fun music. I really enjoyed it.
My favorite part was when they're exploring the big underwater city.
Yeah.
And it's just a cool sort of, I don't know, the song sort of matches the aesthetic of the entire city.
Yeah, and if you want to think of that scene again, you think of IMAX, and you're watching a water documentary, an ocean documentary, just of
just as far as you can see, it's just
coral reef
civilization. Yeah, in comparison, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pretty cool scene.
It was a cool scene, and
then other parts, it's sort of tribal music.
Yeah, I was tapping my feet along, just sitting there.
Yeah, and then there's a tech part where the techno music comes in.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
And Red Hot Chili Peppers was playing for a bit there when the Shield guy was running. I was like, hey, it's this song. I love this song. They could have been playing any other song, non-copyright music, but they had to pay thousands of dollars for that for 2 seconds. So it made me happy then in the moment, so maybe it was worth it, right?
Yeah, I guess so. So overall, I think music was good, even though it was all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
It felt scattered. It still fit.
Yeah, and there was one part where I thought the music was a bit too much. I wanted to focus on the dialogue, but it was just blasting in my ear.
Do you remember which part that was?
Yeah, that was with the S.H.I.E.L.D. guy and the S.H.I.E.L.D. director talking with the FBI. I don't know either of their names, Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That guy.
I think I remember that.
And the music was just blasting. It's just them talking in the room, and I was like, why is there this loud music playing? But there it was.
Interesting. All right, and then Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes,
Rotten Tomatoes decided to give this an 84%. What are your thoughts?
I wanted to decide what I thought about the movie without looking at Rotten Tomatoes. So, I made my decision. I would put it around 70%, 75%, right? And then I saw Rotten Tomatoes, and, I understood why you could put it there.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Yes, it's a good movie. It's a Marvel movie. It's fun. It's 75 for me.
All right. For me, I'd just give it an 80. I don't have too many critiques on the movie, but I still don't think it was quite like a 90 or whatever.
Right. Yeah, for me, taking it down was the CGI. You didn't notice that, so maybe that's why you have an 80, I have a 75. That's the 5% there.
Yeah.
And then, 20% comes from somewhere else. But
It's not like missing anything huge, but it could have been better, I think.
yeah. But yeah, that's gonna do it. I think we covered it all,
I think so too.
We got down to nitty gritty here. Talked about the movie. Was it worth it? Yes.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was worth it. And so, consider subscribing, leaving a like, and commenting down below. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.